What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We're here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Our last guest came together after an exhaustive nationwide search for the best vocal performing talent in a cappella and stage. Hot off the release of their debut album, they're stopping by Build as they prepare to embark on their first North American tour. Not only do we get to hang out and chat for a little bit, but those watching at home, be sure to stick around after the audience Q&A because they will be performing for us live as well. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, make a ridiculous amount of noise. D Cappella's right here. Do it up. Woo, indeed. That was lovely. Guys, congratulations. I was saying backstage, I will say it again, this new record is phenomenal. You should be very proud, very excited. How are we all doing right now? How's everybody feeling? Everybody talk at once immediately into your microphones.
Oh, man, we're feeling really good right now, and we're on a high.
No, you guys can't help but make music, can you? That was beautiful. Thank you.
In perfect tune.
It was, yeah, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. No, but seriously, I genuinely really loved this record. I thought you guys did a fantastic job. I'm excited to talk to you about it. This is a huge week, holidays coming up, on that fun stuff, so it's great that you're here taking some time to hang out with us. Congrats. Let's start. Let's get into this record. You know, what took longer, rehearsing and learning all of these songs or actually recording them? Like, yeah.
Pretty much when we first got together, we recorded 13 songs in 8 days. Wow. 8 days. So pretty much right when we met, we're like, hi, my name's Antonio. And like immediately go straight into recording.
The studio.
So
Yeah, and from then on, and we were still learning the songs while we were recording them, and we didn't really have our sound per se just yet. We had just walked through the door, literally. They were said, you got the job. Make an album. Okay.
Get in the booth.
What a great problem to have.
Exactly, yeah.
Welcome aboard. Yeah, no, not at all. Well, that begs the question then, do you guys all sort of universally agree, or we can go around and figure this out, on the moment that you found DCappella, that you like felt like, oh, we're a band, like this is really happening? Because I imagine it happened really fast. It was really overwhelming. But is there a moment in time? Yeah, we'll go around.
When we were rehearsing, we sang The Glory Days, which is from the Incredibles 2 soundtrack, which we are featured on the digital release. We have 4 songs, I believe, on that. Yeah. And we were rehearsing, and it was the first time we had our in-ears in. We were singing into our mics, and it was unbelievable. I think
all the
half
girls
the people cried.
All of the girls cried.
Instantaneously. It was pretty special.
It's so funny that you mentioned crying, because some of the tracks, I mean, the track list on this is ridiculous. It's got a perfect blend. There's some classic stuff, some newer stuff. And I was just like, how many takes did you guys lose on Remember Me because you couldn't stop crying while you were singing it? Like, I was listening to that track. I was like, I don't know how anybody makes it through this song. It's so good. Yeah. Let's go around. So that's one of your favorites. So let's pick some favorites. So we'll start here in the end, and we'll work our way around.
Yeah. My favorite is Part of Your Whole New World, which is a mashup of Part of Your World and A Whole New World. It's really cool because we have a couple mashups on the album, and we're going to have quite a few mashups in the show. I think it's really cool to, see how those 2 songs come together and how we can make it sound like a completely new song. That sounds very, familiar to us in some way.
Totally. I want to get to yours in a second because we're going to go around. But without giving anything away, on the tour, are there mashups that are not on the record, like surprise mashups?
Oh, yeah.
Secrets. Okay, fair enough. Let's keep going. Favorite track?
On the album, I Want to Be Like You from The Jungle Book. Love it. You might hear it later. I don't know.
Perhaps. Fingers crossed. And we know yours, one of yours.
I do enjoy Remember Me. I think it's beautiful, but I think my ultimate favorite on this soundtrack is the other mashup that we have, Let It Go / Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Because who would have ever thought those 2 songs would go together from the same movie, but they blend so well, and this group, the whole build of the song is what gives me the chills.
It also kind of breathes like a new life into Let It Go, which is admittedly a great song, but a song that we've all heard
a million times.
And so, like,
exactly.
It's great to hear a new take on it.
So it's nice to make it fresh again.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to your favorite on the end, doing these mashups, when you were learning them and seeing like the song list, were you ever like, not doubtful, but skeptical of like, is this gonna work? Are these 2 songs gonna mix?
No, I feel like no.
That's the right answer.
Everybody feels differently about
full
this.
trust in Deke Sharon, our arranger, our producer, director.
Yeah.
He's fantastic, and he's so good at his craft. So I had zero fear. I knew that it was going to work out. Yeah, for sure.
I think across the board throughout the album, the first time that we heard the arrangements together with 7 voices in the room, we were like, wow, it just works, it clicks. It was different than just hearing the pitch by ourselves in our own rooms, you know.
I will say, as much faith as we have in Deke, he is the person that pushes us the most. Because we do get arrangements sometimes, and we all go, "You want me to do what?" You know, singing notes up to the high heavens, or you know, whatever the case may be, making all these crazy noises, but somehow, some way, we figure it out and we make it happen. And he goes, "Oh, I knew you could do it."
In working with Deke, I mean, like, because you all have tons of amazing experience prior to coming together as DCappella, but you know, Deke is Deke. So is it a collaboration? He's pushing you guys, not push back, but do you give ideas as well, sort of ways to make it sound a little more like your own voice and stuff like that?
Something that I love about Deke is that from the get-go in the studio, he was like, I want you to sound like you. I don't want you to sound like anyone else. And I think this is one of the first projects that I've been a part of where I really feel like they want us to be our true, authentic selves, you know? So
Yeah, they want our personalities to shine. You know, they want us to be different.
He's great at crafting our individual, unique abilities into the arrangements, which is really smart.
It's pretty amazing. Well, to that end of personal and personalities showing, let's go ahead and go back. What's your favorite track?
Deke is amazing. But I didn't know how things were going to sound because the process was so condensed and everything was happening so quickly. So I didn't know what the final product would sound like. And that particular song is so soulful, and I think his interpretation and his arrangement is such a contrast from the original because it's like more Boys to Men, doo-wop, R&B. So yeah, and so I found that we were able to exist in a space that was very authentic to who we are. And the album itself is so versatile that to me is such a standout because it's such a contrast to the track that comes before it and the track that comes after it.
It is. I mean, you guys can pick any track. I'm going to tell you I love it because I do love it. It's like, I'm the guy wearing the Donald Duck sweater. Obviously, this is in my wheelhouse here. But let's keep going. What's your favorite?
Mine keeps on switching, honestly, but I have to say the same, You'll Be in My Heart. Just the take that we have on it is so different from any other version that I've heard before, and it's something you can literally hear on repeat. I actually heard them listening to it about 5 times in a row, and each time it just felt better and better. It's one of those things you just can't get tired of it.
That's the other thing, too, is that you guys, and you kind of touched on this in your response, that when you hear everything mixed and layered, it's the first time you're getting to hear the song in that format, like in that way, and really experience it. That must have been really emotional and really like a huge moment for you when you heard it for the first time, right? Like, yeah.
When the CD came out and you know we all got our copies, I went straight to my car and I put it in because that's where I listen to most of my music. I live in Los Angeles, so I'm in the car most of the time, and so I cranked it up, and I remember just being like, "These are my friends. This is crazy. Everyone sounds amazing." You know, it's you know you're used to hearing Beyonce or you know Lady Gaga on the radio, not my best friends, you know, it's crazy.
I want to collect them all here, Pokemon style. Favorite. I want to make sure we get all of them.
These two stole my answer because You'll Be in My Heart is just such a throwback, and the arrangement is insane, but Wouldn't You Love Me is also beautiful. It's like haunting, and it's 4-part, and I love being a part of that song. It's awesome.
Haunting's a great word for that, like in a beautiful way.
Instant tears.
I saw it on the track list, I was like, oh no. We'll come back to that one. Like, I do go back to it. But man, that song, it's one of those songs. It's like I was like, well, you cried through that one too. All right, did I get your favorite? I don't think I did.
Yeah, you were speaking of crying on Remember Me, but I am an emotional person. So when She Loved Me from Toy Story 2, everybody remembers that scene where Jessie is given up by her original owner, and it's a flashback, and everybody in that moment is just crying their eyes out. And our take on that, it's a beautiful 4-part harmony. The bridge has this really dissonant harmonies. It just like comes together to be this beautiful choral kind of piece. Yeah. And it really conveys the message of the song, and I think we do such a great job on that. So I love that song.
You are correct in that assessment that you guys do a great job. So now here's the part that I'm really curious about. The record exists. We established that you did it. Was it 8 days? You said 8 days. So then I imagine you're singing everything live. You're comfortable with that. Now you've got a huge tour coming up. So you got to bring all this stuff out of the studio, bring it to the stage, throw choreography on top of it. How is that going? How are you guys doing? That is a grueling process.
We haven't even started rehearsing yet.
True story.
It's coming.
So we're going to improv it all on stage.
Friend like me, a lot of jazz hands.
Yes, so
a lot
much.
of this.
Maybe a
lot of this
kick line.
stuff. Yeah.
I believe.
So are you at all nervous about that? I mean, you've gotten to a point, and you're singing these songs over and over again. You've gotten them so tight; they're second nature, and now you've got to layer that physicality on top. Going in, do you have a strategy?
Well, no. But I don't want to say that I'm nervous, but of course I am. And we have like 15
You're
other
human.
songs that we haven't learned yet, let alone the choreography to the other 15, you know, but it's going to be really fun. I love rehearsal processes, and it will be a lot more fun with these people because I like them a lot. So
I'm not nervous. I feel like, and well, let me tell you this. I feel like since we have come together, literally everything that we have done has prepared us to be able to produce a show like this. We only always have this much window of time to make something happen, internalize it, make it musical, give it some emotion, connect with it, internalize it again, and then make it something that we can all be a part of. And every time we excel. So I am not nervous. I think that we are all fully capable because this is the first time that I've been in an ensemble with a group of individuals who I feel like are not only talented and professional, but they're fully capable of doing everything that we need to get done. So I never walk into the room feeling like, oh God, I don't know how we're gonna do this. I'm always like, how quickly are we gonna turn this around? How are we gonna beat our record from the last time we did this?
Because ever since this project started, it's kind of been like, okay, what can we do with a couple hours of what's thrown at us in the moment? You know, like the Incredibles 2 soundtrack, those 4 songs that we had, those arrangements were insane. Like Deke was like, how far can I stretch you? Like, how much can I challenge you? And I think that we rose to the occasion. So
Is that one of the first things you guys did, like officially, like on a record? I'm pretty sure.
on a record,
was
that
released,
was
yeah.
the
Yeah,
first.
that was-
our
yeah.
record.
Other than our
the first
singles.
thing
Other than the singles, yeah.
That was
But
the
that was
first,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Know that they were going to be picked up, so that was an amazing.
And we had like maybe
Brian, too.
a week. We had because they were working so diligently, we had a week to get those done, and we went in and we nailed it. We were nervous, but we nailed it. And so I think that helps build our confidence as a unit and give us our chemistry, and that's why we bond the way we do on stage.
we have a really good group, like support group. You know, the people who are running this project and who are taking care of us, like Laura and Lisa and Charlie.
Oh,
who
we
does the
couldn't do
sound.
it
Like we
without-
wouldn't be able to do it
without
without
our
them.
people behind the scenes.
You know.
Yeah.
So we have people who are
lift
taking
us
care
up.
of us. So
Yes, it does.
I'm getting all the signals that we're gonna take some audience questions in a second, but I'm just thinking as we're talking about like these time constraints and you're under pressure and you've got to do it quickly and you're in the studio and I assume you're recording live, which is how you get so much of it done. Do you ever get like 20 seconds from the end of the song and one person messes something up and you just got to either start all over again or you go, well, that's just how that song goes now? Like how does...
We've ever messed up one time ever.
Dude, somebody knock on wood.
I was about to say, I'm usually always the one that's like, oh,
If only that were the
We
case.
keep going. We keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost go on.
As long as the audience has no idea, a lot of the times we're in our own heads. We're perfectionists, and a lot of the time we're just like, oh, that didn't go right, or oh, I was a little off there, and it's just getting that out of mind and just like connecting with people.
Well, for sure, the audiences will be forgiving of that, right? Because especially since the record only just came out, and we're just really excited to see you. But when you're in the studio, you're hearing yourself, and you've got to. So at that point, the only audience you have is the perfectionist inside of you. Did that make it even harder to knock this out in 8 days? Did it make it more challenging? Was that something?
what's interesting though is like when we were in the studio, we were actually recording separately. So we had never sung the song together before. We had sang it first by ourselves.
So they would bring you in one at a time.
Yeah, so
and
we had
layer.
no idea how it would
Part
sound.
built on top of the other.
And we would just
Right.
hear just the MIDI and the click. So we just have to, based off of our own creativity, to create the song and the version of it with Deke in the studio with us to truly build the
Which
track.
was even more difficult.
That makes that record so much more impressive. I mean, it was already really cool, but the idea that you guys went in individually and had to like find it, that's so cool. And you're all so locked in. Well done. You guys have really made something special here. All right, we're going to turn it over to the audience. Before we do, though, the record, obviously, I keep gushing about it. It's out now. If you haven't listened to it, find a copy, get a copy, and listen to it. And the tour kicks off January 22nd, Jacksonville, Florida. That's going to be fun. DCappellalive.com/tour for tickets. Where's my first question? We got a microphone out there. Let's do it up. Bring it
Hi.
down.
First of all, I just want to say what all of you do is like truly amazing. And
Thank you.
thank you.
I just want to know first, because your voice is essentially your instruments. So I want to know, how do you control your breath? Like, unless you have iron lungs. But Like, how are you able to perform and sustain your voice and your breath control?
We've kind of gotten accustomed to working out together as a group. Like, we did squats as a group singing through the song the other day.
While
Starting.
working out.
Yeah. A couple of us have been running on the treadmills and like singing the songs through. So it's just a lot of breath support exercises.
And it's a
tough.
constant, you constantly have to work at it, and we do hold each other, in support of that, of making sure between songs that we're giving each other enough time to catch our breath, get a moment of water. But it is difficult.
And sometimes when you need to take a breath, you just take a breath, honestly. And we also stagger breathe throughout, so little breaths in between notes. But
That's what we're learning
Great
this
question.
week. Just stagger breathing, yeah.
And it's
just
pretty much
taking the time when you need it.
also understanding like the phrase form and dynamic range. So knowing if something's about to go loud, that's not when you take a breath. But it's like right before when you can sneak it when you know someone's going to take a breath later. Just working as a team, that way together, it sounds like it's just going and going and going. You're like, how in the world is that happening? But it's by working as a team and understanding your own voice, your own limitations, and knowing how you can contribute to that sound to make yourself have stamina throughout the entire performance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's so freaking cool. All right, we've got time for a few more. Next question, come on down.
Hi, I'm so excited to hear y'all sing. I was wondering, before performing live, do you guys have like a ritual or some sort of tradition to like hype yourself
We
up?
pray.
Pray.
Do.
We pray. There's our prayer warrior.
We
right
pray.
here.
I put that in the contract. we cannot move on stage without centering ourselves because, like RJ said, a lot of times we are in our heads and we forget that the purpose of what we're doing is to connect. And we have been blessed and fortunate enough to be able to live out what we do in front of other people and be fulfilled by that. And so I think sometimes we get caught up in the specifics. So it takes a moment for us to just 5 seconds. Let's just get centered, have a moment for just us so that we can do what we need to do and be free in that space.
It's easy to get wrapped up in product-oriented thinking, like, okay, I have to sound a certain way, it has to go a certain way. But I think if you put it back to, the giant perspective of things, like we all came to music to inspire other people. We all came to it because we found ourselves in it. So I feel like if we center in on that before we go out on stage, we always sound our best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to do one more. Yep, Mary, come on down. We'll do our final question.
Hi, this is an online question from Samantha. She asks, as a musical group, what do you want your audience to take away from your music?
It's a loaded question
With
now.
Yeah. With Disney music, I feel like I just want the audience to leave uplifted. I feel like the message of Disney songs is already so uplifting. So I just want people to leave happy and enjoy the concert enough to like come back a second time. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely to feel changed. It's easy to have music music is a language. So spoken with the right intention, it's about how you feel. And when you project your love onto the audience, they will receive that love and can take that away and like have their entire life changed. Like I know of stories, have met people have come to me in different performance venues that have said just how much they feel that, where again, all in your head, perfection, I have to get this right. It's important to do your best, but the most important part is the connection and changing people's perspectives, for sure.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Those are awesome questions. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna wrap this up so we can get out of the way, clear the stage. You guys can go get centered, and we can have a little bit of fun performance here.
Yeah.
We folded that into the schedule. Don't worry, plenty of time for that. But I want to thank you guys again for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you in advance for the performance, and congratulations on this record. I'll remind the world the tickets are available. Ticket information, DCappellalive.com/tour. DCappellalive.com/tour for tour info and get that record. Don't go anywhere. Those watching at home, in just a few short minutes, coming up live right on this stage. Deke Cappella, everybody. Make some noise. Come on, do it up.